Versatility is everything. It is about, again, smelling the opportunity and developing your career, not staying still, just keep moving. And yes, I realized very early on I had to have a web page. I was one of the early ones with Twitter. I realized that it wasn't just about fighting my way to write in the Times, which I did, but I realized also I had to just be doing podcasts, and we created with Gabriel Macotti the first football podcast at the time. When we started doing Spanish football, it wasn't just about the goals, we had to explain the story. So then we made what it was a goal show into a chat show, really, Revista de la Liga. So you have to do television, you have to, and then what we all know, we all think that we have a book in ourselves. So, you know, try to do that book, but maybe it's another path that you know, it's something that you could develop, which I did. So don't have a fixed idea of what you want to do, and that also means don't have the fixed idea that you want to get into being a football writer, because a lot of people think that football writing is giving an opinion about a game or about a player being on television, and that's only 1%. Just be open to being a journalist, doing a chronic, explaining a story, whatever shape that story is and whatever shape you have to tell it in.
I've always worked very closely with the media staff that we have, building good relationships. It's always important for things that I don't know that I'm getting good feedback from those the media staff that I'm working with, because in this day and age, when you're going into a press conference, you've got to have as much information as possible, because what we know what will happen is that there will be somebody, there will be a reporter that will hit you with something that you wasn't expecting.
I definitely think whilst studying it is vital. I know it can be expensive and time consuming and exhausting, but I think just getting out there doing as much as you possibly can, even if it's something that you don't see yourself doing, go along and try and do it to even rule it out. It could be within radio. Go and work for a radio station, newspapers, media, even a company that you like the look of. Do work experience in any role you possibly can to have an understanding of the company. And I know lots of people that I went to uni with did work experience and ended up getting jobs off the back of that. It kind of just merged from work experience into some kind of role.
I guess the challenges are they're as much physical and mental as anything else. So it's the durability. I mean, I commentated on something like 170 matches during the last calendar year. So allied to that, I drive 50,000 miles a year. I took 95 flights last year. So you've got to be able to go again when the alarm call comes at 5 a.m. You've got to be ready and you've got to be enthusiastic.
Specifically to do with the media and the sports industry around the media, again, it's experience. You need to be able to write, even if you think, well, I just want to talk on telly, I don't want to write anything, but you need to be able to put your thoughts clearly and concisely into, you know, short snippets, and often writing them is the best way to do that. So you need to be able to write, you need to be able to collate information. If you're going to be a radio journalist, you definitely need to be able to write scripts. If you're going to be a written journalist, you need to. So, you know, that is fundamentally one of the big skills. Now, you can do that tomorrow. You can go to a park and watch a Sunday Football League game, and you can write a match report, and see how your match report stacks up against a Sunday Times newspaper match report. That's something that you could be practicing all the time. And then you can kind of practice commentating on it, or you can practice interviewing. What would you ask? What questions would you ask from that game? Which player would you want to speak to? Why would you want to speak to that player? You can practice that just watching the telly, you know, watching a football match and putting into practice the things that you would do. So that's kind of experience that's not going to cost you anything, you're not going to be bothering anybody. But then real experience, going into a newspaper, going into a TV station, is harder to come by. But it's worth just keep, you know, knocking on those doors and asking for that kind of help. And there are a lot of people who want to help people into the industry.